Hey, it's Thanos from the future. I've just been editing my RWBY reaction videos for episodes 12, 13, and 14, and it seems like my microphone or my noise gate settings were kind of messed up. I think for the most part you can still understand what I'm saying, but my words tend to get cut off. It's honestly pretty annoying for me that I don't really have a way to fix it. So, bear with it, and sorry about that. Hello everyone, welcome back for another RWBY reaction, as Volume 8 continues hurtling towards something or other. Definitely some kind of climax happening soon. So we are up to episode 12, called Creation. It's risky, dangerous, and nearly impossible, but it's the best plan they've got. So, last episode, called Risk, or Risk, something like that, was, all about the aforementioned risk. And looks like the risks aren't stopping here. It's just coming down to trying to decide which risks are worth taking, and, well, accepting that they can't always win perfectly. So, we've got a whole bunch of people heading towards the vault. We've already got, Ironwood who's waiting there, Penny who's being drawn both by the virus implanted in her as well as, well, Ironwood's own compulsion and ultimatum. But fortunately now she has the support of our protagonist, who are also planning something and will be heading there. Possibly we've got Bro, Robin, maybe they've been joined by Winter and Marrow, who may be also going in that direction to try to stop Ironwood. And we also have Cinder, Neo, and Watts, who are probably going there. Hopefully with a better plan, better support. Just because Cinder had that, I was going to say discussion, it wasn't so much a discussion as just getting monologued at by Watts, as he basically told her what's what. But then, although she's probably back down from the, just burn a path straight to the vault and wait for the maiden, I can't imagine that she's, just ignoring it. It's just that hopefully she's going to be doing it a little bit smarter, and with Watts's and Neo's help in this case. So, quickly, what else happened last episode? It was much more of a talking episode, which was really good. I love the fight scenes, obviously, but the reason that you care about fight scenes, I think, is because of characters, and therefore you need these moments for, the character development. These, really juicy bits of talking. Not only that, but in episodes like that, you get to see the animation team do some really good non-combat animation stuff, which I appreciate. Just simple things that I like. And you also have the voice actors getting to, flex their skills a bit there. And I think that we could all agree that they did a great job last episode, putting forth their moments there. So, a whole bunch of threads, all just aimed straight towards one collision point. Things are going to be interesting. Alright, without any further ado, Volume 8, Episode 12, in 3, 2, 1, now. Oh boy, do we have a lot of things all heading towards one crazy climax. So at the moment I still am rooting for Cinder to be that, early game boss that turns into the final boss in the end. Maybe that won't happen. And I guess I won't mind either way. But at the moment, that's sort of what I'm envisioning. I'm hoping that's where they're trying to push her development at the moment, so that she can be a worthy, maybe it won't work. I don't know, I'm just sort of throwing it around in my head at the moment. I guess it would be fitting for Salem to still be the final. I'd like to see Cinder develop though as a villain. I've said that before. And she'll either get wiped out here, or maybe this will be the next big step that she has on becoming that big threat. Heck is that? That's quite the gun. Would not want to be a
We don't know what state Penny is in.
Elysian citizen right now.
To come with her, we put them down immediately.
Yeah,
The
you
general
can try.
gave us terms. No more games. Is there a problem?
Just
Yeah, you.
retracing the steps that led us here.
Sorry,
does it
it
say?
really annoys me. I don't know whether you
Rowan Robin.
realize
You're in
that?
the Academy hangar,
Trying to stop the payload.
or just looking for a way out.
Not going to happen. I've been waiting to take my shot at those two. Let's go, Aesops.
But someone needs to stay here with the general. I'll stay. We lose the payload, we lose our leverage.
She's right. Contain it. Now.
Maybe she left Marrow with.
Sir, this course of action,
I hope you're not going to try to talk me out of it.
no, sir. I don't think that's possible.
I didn't think you'd actually come alone. I expected at least some resistance from your friends.
I don't want anyone else to die. I must open the vault.
You've done the right thing.
I have.
Feels weird.
Wow. The chaos begins quickly. Ooh. She's gonna be pissed.
Sorry, guys, but we don't want to fight.
We didn't want to drop Atlas either, but we've all had to make some tough calls.
That was incredible.
Go! Move to phase 2.
Guys,
I'm gonna need to watch that again.
she has to go to the vault.
It just
That's
flashed past
actually a
so
risk
quick.
We haven't considered.
We've been so worried about keeping the vault closed that we never considered using what's inside.
The Staff of Creation.
Maybe we could use it to save Penny and get everyone in Atlas and Mantle back to safety.
Well, you'll never guess who I just heard from.
So, you're not arresting me?
No. Ironwood's got to be stopped.
Then why did you hit me?
Because you were about to get killed if I didn't do something.
What are you doing?
What I should have done ages ago. Getting in touch with my sister. We're going to need help. Speaking of help...
So we've got people trapped in Atlas and Mantle that we can't evacuate unless we use the staff, which is located inside the vault. If we open the vault, Penny terminates. If Ironwood gets wind of any of this, he blows up Mantle.
There's something else to consider. Once the staff creates anything else, the city drops. Atlas has
kind
enough
of a big
natural
thing.
gravity dust to keep it from plummeting immediately, but... well, nobody's going to want to be around when it touches down.
Okay.
Yeah, I suppose something that
let's
big,
use
even
the
a
staff to
gentle
teleport everyone to
descent
safety.
is still going to crush
Maybe even
everyone.
to another kingdom.
We can't just wave it like a magic wand and make our problems go away. And we haven't even told you about... him.
Who?
The spirit and the staff. Like Jin. But, well, he's a character. He can build you anything, but only if you can explain to him how. Like any craftsman, he'll need blueprints. Some sort of reference. It'll help if we have real-world examples to show him.
I've already gone through the city layouts for the SDC evacuation. Maybe I can help.
There's still James and his bomb to consider.
You go,
I've got
Whitley.
a plan for that.
So, that takes care of phase 1.
Meanwhile, the real Penny goes to the vault. With help.
I blasted a hole through the bottom of Atlas, and I highly doubt they've had time for repairs. That should take you straight to it.
It's like a mini heist movie.
Is the easy part.
As soon as Penny opens the door, we go through, grab the staff, and stop her termination.
Just hang in there, Penny. Okay?
That sounds like some tight timing. And where is Cinder? Oh wow. Do they all work the same then?
It seems someone has come to engage my creative
I love it.
wiles. All I'll say is it had better be worth it after my last project. A floating city? How pedestrian.
Hi, Mr. Ambrosius. Sir, listen, it's about our friend. She's dying.
I'm going to go ahead and assume that you know it's against the rules for me to bring people back from the dead, so...
That's not what we want.
She's not dead yet.
She's not your typical girl.
So she isn't. I'd love to meet whoever did this. Ah, I see. There's something eating away at her. I'm guessing you think you have some clever plan to save her. Just know, I will give you exactly what you asked for, and I don't want any complaining when it's not what you wanted.
I was gonna
We
ask
brought her
before whether he
schematics.
was
We want you to make a new version of her, using her exact same robot parts.
That was curiously worded, girl.
An exact copy of her would include the virus. An exact copy of her without the virus would cease to exist the second you make something else. And we kind of want to keep her around longer than that.
You've done your homework.
We want you to create a new version of her, using her existing robotic parts, taking the virus with them.
Okay, but if I take the robot parts out of her, that would leave...
Penny. The girl who's always been there underneath it.
You can't destroy. It's against the rules. But you wouldn't be destroying her. Her soul is who she is.
The mechanical parts are just... extra.
But a soul without a complete body, what would be left?
I don't know. I guess you just have to get creative.
I suppose I could do a little add a touch-up. But if I do that, how much of the old painting would be my work and how much would be her? Just coming up to the surface.
Interesting.
This is all very exciting and very dangerous. I don't know what the results are going to be.
I love this
We
guy.
don't have any other options. We believe in her.
Then ready yourselves to witness my artistry.
I was also curious about the wording thing before. Whether it was going to be a case of, you know, careful of your exact wording because he'll give it to you exactly as you ask for it.
It's done.
I guess that's the signal then. Seems like things are moving forward in the vault.
Hopefully Penny is going to be okay.
If Atlas is moving, we need to get word out before people panic.
Meaning hurry.
I know. Okay, this should
Okay,
be
so it's not a
That did something?
thing.
You're live.
Everyone can see you.
Oh! Citizens of Atlas. Mantle, what we have to tell you is very important. Atlas is falling. But...
Wait, what happened?
It's dead. The entire CCT. It just went down.
And so did Kingdom-wide communications. How?
Well, I suppose the important part got out.
Do now.
That boy said Atlas is falling. Is that true?
Yes. We're using the staff to get everyone to safety. Salem can have the rubble. We'll all be long gone.
Are you going to leave me here?
We'd really like to.
When we're finished, we'll move both of you to safety.
Oh, Winter, thank you.
Oh, don't thank me. It was Weiss's decision.
Despite everything.
Penny?
This is how they nerf Penny, I guess. Still hard to see. I imagine it must be hard for her to see.
Are you okay? Do hugs always make you feel this warm inside?
Now you gotta deal with a whole lot of other problems.
More! We should probably make sure our theory works. And start the evacuation.
He's so adorable.
Create and it's you guys again.
We're not done with you yet.
Fine.
Let's try the quick version. Can you make a bunch of doorways in Atlas that open at a single spot in Vacuo?
Sure, I'll just need coordinates and specs for each door and explanation for bending space and time to account for the much greater traffic on one side and a single point of exit on the other.
Okay, that's about what we expected. So, we need to funnel everybody through a central location first.
You're going to have to tell me more about this central location for starters. Where is it?
Here. A place like these vaults. Wherever they are, they're not part of Remnant. Only accessible if you know the right way in. Seems like a safe enough place for thousands of refugees.
You kids are either
What are these
smarter
vaults?
or much more foolish than you realize. I'm going to need a reference.
Oh, we've got one.
What do you suppose it was like trying to communicate with this, well, genie, for lack of a better word, before they had the tech to do this?
people
Wow.
enter from Atlas and Mantle on one
It's
side.
ballsy just to put a limb through a random portal.
And leave on the other
That'd be like
side,
poking a
the
stick or
one-way
something.
ticket to Vacuo.
Well, everything appears to be in order. You were quite thorough.
Things are going too well.
So, it's done.
Yeah. Oh, and one last point of clarification about this central location of yours. Do not fall. Okay, and with that dire warning,
We did it.
What now?
We go to Vacuo. All of us. And hope that we've thought of everything.
There we go. At least we had a nice episode. The Cinder only got to show her face at the end. Oh. Vault of the Winter Maiden. The designs are real. The designs for those doors are all really cool. Well, that episode felt like it was over a little quick, but it was good. About the feeling that I've had for most of the episodes this volume, actually. So this episode was presented kind of in the style of a heist, with the planning happening in parallel with the action, which also led to it being successful, because we all know that if they'd described the plan beforehand, it would have inevitably have failed. I don't know what I feel about it going as smoothly as it did. It took me back a little, but I'm also not too upset, because it still feels like overall we've been taking a bit of a loss this season, and there are still episodes left. Not only that, but the very last point of it, the last moment of this episode, was to show that there is in fact something that they haven't accounted for yet. Everything else they planned worked out perfectly. That's great. Cinder is gonna be throwing a spanner in the works somehow. So we managed to get Penny. Let's just talk about that first. Seems like a pretty big thing to miss, so let's just go straight to it. It's really sweet that this happened. She gets to be a real girl, which serves multiple purposes. It fits in with the, Pinocchio sort of arc for her, in that she finally becomes a real person, which is super awesome. It serves the other purpose that it also nerfs her a little bit, because now she is just human. She's still the Winter Maiden, which carries with it a lot of power, but as we've seen, maidens have fallen. So we do have to fear more for her. I mean, we were already fearing for her just as a robot because she'd been given her last life, but it's really nice that they managed to resolve that issue. They've removed the threat of an extremely powerful robot, so now she just has whatever power the maiden powers give her, and her aura. I wonder if she has a semblance. Thoughts for another time, I think. This does mean there's a risk. She can much more easily be killed, and doesn't quite have the same repair option. But on the other hand, maybe she can repair herself better with an aura. Aura can presumably heal a human body better than it could heal a robot one. I assume as far as being a robot was concerned, it served well as a force field, but I'm not sure how well its healing properties worked. I realize there's like a whole bunch of things with regards to Penny and how she works that I never thought of until now that she isn't a robot anymore. Anyway. I would really hate for Cinder to succeed in her goal now, because it would really, really suck for Penny to become human and then get killed like 1 or 2 episodes later and have the Winter Maiden power ripped out of her. I wonder if Cinder can remove the power without killing. That would still be horrible, by the way. And I'm also thinking probably not, because of the fact that the power sort of binds itself to the soul. So I imagine that there's... Yeah, I don't want to think about that too much, to be honest. So, other things that we had this episode... Actually, this is still related to Penny. So, I was going to talk about the genie of creation next. And it took me a while, because I was trying to figure out how did this work? Because everything that they create, whenever you can only have like one creation thing happening at a time. So I thought, oh, they created Penny a new body stuff. But no, it comes down to the exact words again. What they did, that's why they specifically wanted to create a robot again, using all of those parts. Basically, everything except her soul. And they relied on basically the loophole where the genie gave them a soul container for free, basically. That wasn't part of the request. And that's of course why the Penny robot ended up poofing afterwards. Because... oh wait, is it? Yeah. Because when they requested the portals, then that destroyed the previous thing, which was the recreated Penny robot. They are lucky that this genie was not the malicious type. He is very exacting in his requirement, in needing specifications for what he needs to create, but at least he's not the type which deliberately looks to screw the person over. So, they're fortunate. I love this character, by the way. He was really cool. It's fun to have such characters. It makes me now also wonder, what are the genies in the other relics like? And I wonder what sort of personalities they're gonna have. Pretty interesting. And I think the last thing I wanted to talk about was, yeah, the fight at the start. The whole action. It all blazed past really quickly. I'm gonna look over it again, but there were some pretty cool moments. We had Emerald basically doing her first thing as on the good side for once. A nice moment for her. I love the facial expression that they had for her as Penny. There was like a crooked sort of smile that seemed very un-Penny-like. But also, speaking of the whole fight at the start, they really brought a lot of people to bear against Iron. I guess they didn't know for sure how many people would be here. They obviously planned to try to get the Aesops away, but they possibly didn't know whether Winter would be successful in managing to convince them to leave only her as Ironwood's last defender. And not only that, but they probably needed... well, they realized how much of a threat it was if Ironwood decided to just say, drop the bomb. So they really needed to bring sort of overwhelming force against him to make sure that it went off without a hitch. Sure, they could have used fewer, and then there'd be more chances of it failing, or taking longer. That worked well. It also really shows how much of a threat they considered Ironwood. to have to throw this much at him. Really speaks something of Ironwood as well, how much of a punishment he can take from all of these people just, you know, hitting him from all sides. He really is quite the tank. I guess having like half his body metal now probably helps. My thoughts have been a bit disjointed about this episode. Sorry about that. But I'm tangled. Just like my thoughts. So what do I anticipate for the rest of this volume? Mainly Cinder. It's odd because I thought that Ironwood would be more of a threat for the rest of the volume at least. I thought he was gonna sort of continue to be the main antagonist right up until, what, episode 14, I guess? I figured that Cinder would probably be there to throw like a spanner in the works, but I thought that, you know, Ironwood would still be, you know, in action. He's basically been taken care of in that they managed to disarm him and they've, you know, chucked him in prison. Or at least they've at least restrained him. Presumably they've done the same to the Aesop, because otherwise they could still be an annoyance. But otherwise I'm just thinking of how much damage could Cinder inflict. Other question is, how long would it take Salem to reconstruct herself? Most of the Grim Horde that she brought has been eliminated, but Salem alone can still be somewhat of a threat. Other things that are less, I don't want to say less important, but just other things that I could imagine them addressing, but may not have the time for it, is Penny getting used to being a real girl now. She doesn't have the power that she had as a robot. Presumably there's a lot of habits that she had because she was a robot, and had, you know, the strength of one and the resilience of one. I don't know whether it's going to take her time to learn, you know, how to fight as one. There were, you know, the things about a semblance and all that I was wondering about before as well. I'd like to see Pietro's reaction to seeing her as a real girl as well. That would be a nice thing. Even if not, you know, in the next couple of episodes, it would still be something I'd really like to see at some point. I'm also not sure how Emerald will be if her conflict takes her into direct opposition with Cinder. That I can see a bit of a, you know, mental, emotional sort of thing going with her. She seems like she's in a better place now that she's settled on, you know, throwing her lot in with our protagonists, but I still feel like something's going to get drawn up again if, you know, Cinder, to whom she's had so much devotion, you know, suddenly is on the other side. So anyway, I think that's 2 episodes left of this volume. 2 episodes in which a lot could happen. Atlas is already starting to fall. They need a way to get everyone out. Fortunately, they've got these portals, but Cinder is going to start throwing some problems in there. Just conflict in some whole other dimension. And the genie made the point about not falling as well, so I don't know, I feel like we're going to lose people. You know, they might even just be random civilians, but I think that would be an awful way to go, just falling endlessly into wherever the heck this place is. 2 episodes to go, and then the long wait. This has been a good volume. Anyway, that's it for me for now. If you had any thoughts on the episode, or on my reaction to the episode, then feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, I will see you next time for episode 13.